The Shortchange Artist. I'm not even sure if there's an author mentioned on this. This is just copyright 1978 by Magic Creations, St. Paul, Minnesota. I don't think anyone wanted their name on this. Looks like this originally sold for $1.98. This is more of a pamphlet than a true book, but this is actually my second copy of this particular book, pamphlet, whatever you want to call it. I originally found this at a little magic shop up in Plano, Texas, called the Queen of Hearts, was selling it. And I thought, Shortchange Artist. I think at the time I might have paid, $2 or $3 for it. And I just thought it'd be a funny book to have sitting around, and read it. And it, even though it purports to be a book telling you how it says, protect yourself from the subtle psychological misdirection employed by these masters of deception who con unwary victims out of millions every year, featuring the change raiser, the shortchange artist, the zip method, and much more. So when I first saw this, I thought, that'll be a fun, just thing to have just sitting around and whatnot. And then I started reading it, and it is literal instructions for how to shortchange people. Now, again, presented under the guise of hey, watch out for this, but that's not really what's happening. This actually tells you how much you could make as of, probably the late 80s when I got this. Said that the average shortchange artist using the methods described in this book could make around 35,000 or so a year, following the formulas in here. And really fascinating stuff in that this is literally a guide for how shortchanging works. So if you can find this is a really hard to find pamphlet or book or whatever you want to call it. I actually found it because a fellow magician was liquidating his collection, and I got that, and I got this as part of that book collection. I don't know what happened to my original copy, but one of the interesting things that it talks about in here is what's called, I believe this is the zip method, where in magician's parlance, this is what's called a pull, an elastic or a string band that runs up the sleeve into your hand, and with some sticky tack or something on a button. And that allows you to, I'm going to use one of my crackers as an example. So say somebody puts this cracker in your hand, and you've got this button with sticky tack or some kind of adhesive material or gummy material. You put that on there, press that in, and now that elastic, once released, that whatever item is stuck to that pull zips up your sleeve at such speed as to be almost imperceptible to someone just even across the table from you. And that is old hat as far as magic is concerned. But using that method in the context of shortchanging is really interesting. The method that's described here is when someone is counting change back to you. Say you pay for something with a 20, and you buy a piece of gum or something, and they usually put the highest bill in your hand first. So say a 10, a 5, and 3 ones and some change or whatever. That 10 is going into your hand first, right onto that pull. And then as soon as they put all the money in, it says too that the person executing this technique tells the cashier, well, you shorted me the $10 bill. And they say, well, no, I didn't. And you say, yeah, you didn't give me the $10 bill. Well, at this point, the $10 bill is very much still there. But as they turn their hand over and extend their hand to hand it back to the cashier, that's when the pull is executed, and it goes up their sleeve and takes away the highest bill, leaving them with all the other bills. And it said this is so effective that this is even difficult to spot on security cameras. So anyway, fascinating book as part of my library, because I think this is one of those things, this is one of those weird areas of literature where I think it's hard for a lot of people to fathom that there's actual instructional material for criminal behavior out there, but indeed there is. Again, this is presented as a, hey, here's how to spot this, but it's really hard to see it that way when you read through this. So, interesting study in just some of the techniques and some of the math involved. I won't go much in beyond that, but this is one of those things in my library that I'm really proud of having in my collection. Not because I'm a shortchange artist, just because this is just one of those weird things that's surprising that it even exists. I think it's only, let's see, how many pages? This is only 13 pages long. But back years ago when I first got this, I used to do this, the main shortchange method that it gave you, I would do this as a demonstration for people with Monopoly money to show them how that worked. Because it really is a fascinating exercise in psychology of how shortchanging takes place. So anyway, the Shortchange Artist. No author given at all, but fascinating little snapshot of 1980s criminal literature. I don't know how else to describe it.